popping a med.
Hi,
One's down.
That was a good clear. Okay, in this clip, this was one of the first times I executed a certain move, and I did it perfectly. So I'm using Dilemma. I flagged over here. Another players are just around the corner. I'm looking for them. I think I turn and spot them here. Yep, there they are. Make some noise, get their attention, back up, get hit. It's important to get hit. I'm like, oh, let's put a decoy down, move behind this truck. I'm still broken line of sight. They have no idea that I'm not around that corner. And then here we are, boom. Now it was actually a bad play to pull up my shield because I wasted my Vanguard. However, I've knocked one down. 1v2. There we go, the guy's engaging me at range. What a dumbass. He's going to die now because as soon as I fight this guy, the other one dies. And there we go. Easy 1v3.
Indy.
Welcome to my crib, people. What are you saying? Yes, yes. What is this? What's man got there? Couple M870s. Is that an M4? Yes, M4's M870s and a police vest. A really tiny police. What the fuck is that? Is that a kid's police vest? We've got little kid coppers. Like, that's no way that fits me. Not a chance. The mask's alright. The helmet's fine. That chest piece is alright, but that's like tiny. It's like,
Yo, is that for Scrappy? No, let me at him, Bo. Let me at him.
fucking hell. Anyways, you lot not here to see me chat shit. It's dilemma time. So, running 4-piece dilemma, of course. Fenris for the weapon damage. And we run this for the crit chance. This is a much simpler build to explain. You're going to want to run assault rifles when you run dilemma. Reason being is you need to fight at range. It's not really a close range. I mean, don't get me wrong, it works close range. But because of the firewall spam, when you break their armor, you get put on fire. You're on fire, you can't crit, and therefore you can't spread damage. So ideally, you want to stay at range. Yes, the Eagle Bearer is good, but I don't recommend you use it as a primary, because sometimes you get the headshot kill to begin with, and then you take too much damage, and then the buff kills you. The Eagle Bearer is not that great of a gun. I just have it here because it's good as a secondary, not as a primary. I go for the FAMAS, because the FAMAS is the best assault rifle. Just damage, DPS, handling, really good accuracy. As you can see here, you know, if I wanted to shoot, you can see the accuracy barely moves while standing still. And when I move, well, it opens, like every other assault rifle. FAMAS does have a bit of recoil. If I don't control, kind of what it does. All you got to do is, you know, pull down to the left. No problem. Of course, if you're on console, that should be a little bit harder. But a little bit of practice, maybe a little bit of weapon handling next patch, because that's about to get buffed. And it'll be fine. So carrying on, what sort of, you know, red to blue ratio do you want crit chance, crit damage? I went through several different iterations of this gear set, and trust me, I started using it about 5-6 weeks from TU8 launch, so I had already dealt with it quite a bit and never really used it, but I thought it was finally time to make a build, and I went through several iterations before I got it right, and this I believe to be one of the strongest ways to run Negotiators. I'm not saying it's the only way. There are definitely many ways to run it, especially at the moment because it's broken and it deals 2.5x damage to marked targets. So if I hit for 200k, the marked targets get hit for 500k. Things like damage to targets out of cover work on the Negotiators proc and glass cannon, which is why I don't think I have it on me anymore. No, I don't. Glass cannon is actually very strong with this, but it isn't because glass cannon's dog shit and you just take way too much damage. But you can deal massive amounts of damage to the marked targets. But because it's bugged and it does that anyway, it's not necessary. And it's better to go for something defensive on the chest piece. So I went for Vanguard and with lots of blues. So yeah, back to the skew of stats. I think going with high blues is definitely the way to go. Again, because of its bug nature and the extra damage it's dealing, you can afford to drop reds and go for blues. You get your damage anyway. I would actually go with 6 blue on this build, because you're going to be tanky as shit, and you're actually going to blend in with your other tanky teammates, and you're not going to become a target. See, one of the reasons you don't run low armor, especially if you're the only guy in the team running low armor, is you get targeted, man. If you know you're PvP and you're the weak guy, that people are going to pop a mech here. They're going to push, ignore the high armor, lower damage players, and go for the squishy guy with high damage. Like, that's simply how you should clear a team. And so by being negotiators, you dish out ridiculous damage. You have ridiculous armor, immune shield for 5 seconds, and then you can use a decoy to attack from the side. It's really, really strong. I had initially also experimented with hazard protection. My friend Trig was trying out hazard protection, said he found some success, but it didn't work for me. I found myself losing too many 1v1s. So you do just want to go for crit damage wherever you can, to be quite honest. Of course, because it's an AR, it's okay to have a crit chance roll or 2, like I have. Of course, this is a really nice chest. I could go for crit damage, but actually having some hazard is not a bad idea either. As you can see, I've got hazard here. I'd actually rather have crit damage because this roll isn't very good, and I do have one here with max crit damage, but it's a red, and it makes me go to 2-4. And don't get me wrong, 2-4 is my favourite skew, but because I'm using the shield, I stick with this one. I mean, perhaps this one is just a better one because I do get more out of this 12 than I do from the 7 hazard. But I just want to stick with 5 blues. Like I said, I actually want 6 blues with this, but the coyotes prevents me. If I could roll the blue, I would roll the blue. So let's look at the actual attributes. Crit chance, crit damage on every mod. Don't get me wrong, that's got to happen. It's got to happen. Coyotes, of course, that rolls the same every time. Fenris chest piece, you definitely want a Fenris in there. I see some people running negotiators without a Fenris, and they go for like Cheska and Grupo. Don't do that. Go for your base damage, alright? Go for your base damage. You're getting plenty of crit elsewhere. The gear set gives you 40 or 55 because you get the extra 15 or the 20. Sorry, you get 60 crit damage. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, no other gear set does that. Once you're in combat for a while, you get the 2 times 20, and it really does add up. So, yeah. You can afford to drop a little bit of crit damage for hazard. I'm only saying at 27%. It's not very much, but it helps a little bit. Because, when you're on fire, you can't do shit. So for the holster running armor hazard, as you've seen. Backpack will be armor, crit damage. Gloves will be armor, crit damage. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's all armor, crit damage. And try and get your crit chance to 50, or at the moment I'm running 57. What I could do is, if I was a bit smarter, I would actually drop this for the crit damage one. So I'll be setting at 52. So it's plenty of crit chance. I get a bit more crit damage as well this way. And then, of course, the coyotes at mid-range will top me off. While at close range, I'll get stronger crits to help me out there. Of course, you do, maybe if you find yourself struggling in close range, maybe you do want to put that crit chance back on. But again, with the ridiculous amounts of damage that Negotiators is going to be doing to players, you're going to tag player 1, shoot player 2, while player 1 moves within 5 meters. Your player 1 spreading damage to player 2 is going to break their armor, it's going to put you on fire, and you lose all your damage. And that situation does happen a lot, and that's why you need to run the shield. You need fireball for the shield, the good shield anyway. You get weapon damage with this. It's 11% multiplicative damage. And it really does. I mean, especially with Vanguard, the way people miss your head. I mean, I still think there's a bug around where if you're using a shield with an assault rifle, it bugs out the player model, so that when you're shooting like this, so if I have an AR and I shoot sort of there, see the recoil makes my shield go up, but because I'm pulling down on the recoil, you can see that the laser of my gun is above. See, right now it's below the crosshair, but when I shoot, it goes above the crosshair. So it raises the shield to the point where sometimes your head cannot be shot. Even if you're shooting someone dead on the head, no damage, nothing. It's really bad, and they actually stated in one of the I think TU9.1 or 8.5 that they'd fixed that, but clearly they ain't fixed it. So let's go to the stat sheet and have a look what we're at. So you want at least 50% crit chance with the coyotes. That means 50 plus 10 at mid range you will cap out. with 130 or 140 crit damage, or a bit more, depending on where you can get it. Headshot damage, don't worry about it. It's not important. Off to the blues, of course. 0 income and repair. This is not a build where you want to spec for income and repair. Hazard is nice to get up if you can get some pieces. If you have hazard pieces, it's not a problem. Just don't over-spec for hazard, because if you lose too much crit damage, you're going to lose 1v1s. And if you lose 1v1s, well, you ain't going to be doing 1v3, 1v4, are you, if you can't do the 1v1? For the sidearm, doesn't really matter. I hardly ever use it. I mean, just whatever. Have a finisher pistol or a preservation pistol, whatever it may be, and do what you like to do, man. I can't advise you on that because I don't really use it. So to the decoy. Decoy is by far the best skill to use with negotiators, and I'll show you a little bit why. So you're being chased. Players are coming through here. So they're right behind you here, right? You're chasing, you're running, you're running, you're running. What you can do is you can decoy around the corner like this, run, and because you still got line of sight broken, providing this fence wasn't here, what you could do is you could retreat so far back. What you can do is you can retreat so far back, and when these guys peek that and they look to the right where the decoy was, you shoot them all from the side. And people are aggressive, especially when you're outnumbered 1v3, 1v4, you know. They're going to rush you. They're all going to turn that corner, look the wrong way, while you pop out here like, haha, shoot you all. You've tagged them all. They'll all be out of position, and then you've got cover, they ain't got cover, and while they scurry to cover... Hey, what you doing, fam? Shut the fuck up, you're dog shit. Look at you, easy 1v1. Fucking hell. Unbelievable. But yeah, and then they're all out of position, and then you just finish them off as they get into cover. At which point you can just pop a med, rush, and then you've still got your Vanguard, which would have been back. And then if you really, you know, you got 1v1, 1v2, Vanguard just sort that out, no problem. So, really, really strong. You definitely want Decoy. Super underused, underutilized, but it is gaining some traction. You know, for the last 3 weeks or so, the usage has definitely been rising, and even good players fall for them. It's one of those skills that is fun to play against, and it works against everyone, which is just the kind of thing that makes a skill balanced. So, I mean, I wish I could talk more about the build, but there's really not that much to say. Loads of blues, Vanguard, Firewall, Shield, Decoy, Coyotes, 50% crit chance, everything else to crit damage. If you can squeeze hazard, fit the hazard in. That pretty much sums up the build. And so, yeah, man, hope you guys enjoy it, and I got some more gameplay for you, so enjoy that as well. In a bit.
Cheating, guys. Impossible.
Bro, you need to shoot me. You need to shoot me if you want to kill me.
Lol, nice medkit, man.
If I get this mech kit off. You're so bad. You can't hit headshots. You can't hit headshots.
Easy, guys.
Literally, he fired like a full magazine and he couldn't hit me in the head.
You run to get medikit, guys. You run. You easy, guys.
Fuck did he get that off, man? Body shot gamer. Let's watch this bit again. I go around the corner, I decoy, I rush right back out, at which point he's already gone to aim that way. He's got to readjust and I'm already on his head. Just like that, you can gain the advantage. Love the decoy, man. Love the decoy. And that's the end of the video. In a bit.